I've been through some dark times in my life, some seasons of suffering, seasons of sorrow. And in the midst of that, I have read the book of Job, I don't know how many times, at least 24 times. My favorite chapters are chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 42. Now, you know the story of Job. Job was a good man. He was a godly man. He was a father. He was a husband. And he was a businessman. In fact, he's considered possibly the best businessman in the world at that time, the biggest business in the world at that time, back in the times of Abraham is when Job lived. Big businessman, but one day he lost it all. Satan and God had a little duel going on. Would Job worship God even if he lost everything? And so God said, you can touch him, you can attack him, you can just don't touch his body. So Satan went to work. Job lost all his oxen, all his goats, all his sheep, all his donkeys, all his camels, his servants. His entire business is destroyed in one day. And then the next day, and his children are killed on that day. And then the next day, he wakes up and he's covered in painful, pussy, swollen boils. He is suffering. And you read chapter 3 to chapter 41, and he goes through this time. He just wants an explanation. What did I do wrong? Why am I suffering? When God does show up, God doesn't give him an explanation, but God gives him an exploration and a revelation of how big God is and how God created the universe and how big just creation of the earth was. Well, as a result of that, his hardship and seeing God in his hardship, Job was humbled. And because he was humbled, he experienced several blessings. I want you, if you're suffering, to get as blessed as you possibly can. I want your suffering to be the doorway to blessing in your life. And it can be. And there's different types of blessings that we see in the Bible for persons who suffer and do it right and end up more humble as a result. Job, we see in verse 2, got a bigger view of God. He said, now I know nobody can thwart your plans. God, you're bigger than anybody or anything. He got a bigger view of God. Sometimes when we're suffering, we get to see God just be as big as he really is. He got a smaller view of himself. He said, what was I talking about? I was accusing you of things. I didn't even know what I was talking about. It's what you are, who you are, what you do, it's beyond me. He got a smaller view of himself. Those are blessings. A bigger view of God gives you more faith. A smaller view of self gives you a more realistic view, a greater dependency upon God. And then in verse 5, he says, prior to this suffering, it was as if I'd heard of you with my ears, but now I've seen you with my eyes. I am closer to you. How many people, if you ask them, what was the thing that got you to God? What was the thing that brought you closer to God? Most people will say their season of suffering. It gets us closer to God. And it brings many blessings. Chapter 42, we also find, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, it brought double blessing into Job's life on many areas. So lots of blessings. Let's talk about some of them. Isaiah 57:15. It says, thus says the high and lofty one who inhabits eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place with him also, who is of a contrite and broken heart. You want to get, where's God at? God is with the humble. God is with the humble. You will experience nearness to God, unlike you had before, if you know how to take your suffering and turn it into worship. He experienced nearness to God, and God says, I dwell in the high and holy place with him also of a humble and contrite spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble. God can revive your spirit. God can renew your spirit. Going through a season of suffering and doing it with God, doing it right, you can end up with a revived spirit. Another blessing is greater grace. James 4, 1 Peter 5. God resists, God opposes, God stands against the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Hey, the thing you want in life is grace. It's God's undeserved favor and the blessings that come with that favor. All sorts of blessings come into your life when you're experiencing the grace of God. It's like showers of blessing in your life. That's what grace is. But if you've got pride in your heart, hardness in your heart, God will resist you. God will stiff arm you. God will oppose you. God will, in essence, the word means be your enemy. You don't want that. But He gives grace to the humble. You can experience God's grace when you allow your hardship to bring humility into your life. The last one is higher exaltation. It says in Matthew 23 that the proud will be opposed and will be humbled. They will be brought down, but the humble will be exalted. They will be lifted up. It could be in your spiritual life. It could be in your relational life, your family life, your business life, your ministry life. But you will experience being exalted at a higher level if you go through your suffering, your hardship, with an attitude of humility. So I just want to call on you right now to humble yourself in the midst of your suffering, in the midst of your sorrow. Realize God is big and you are small and you need God, and God is bigger than your problem, bigger than your pain, and turn to Him. I'm Dave Early. We do this type of Bible teaching on a daily basis. You can join us on Facebook or YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share these videos with your friends. Put them on your page. Allow God to use you to be a blessing to somebody else.